Welcome to Employment Law This Week. I'm George Whipple. The year is coming to a close, and it was a big one in the world of trade secrets and non-competes. Today, we're running down the key trends of 2022. First up, confidentiality clause requirements.
It's always been best practice to carve out exceptions, certain exceptions to confidentiality clauses, but this year, several states passed additional laws limiting confidentiality provisions.
Epstein Becker Green's Kate Rigby talks more about the specific laws in this week's Spilling Secrets, Epstein Becker Green's podcast series about trade secrets and non-compete law, available on the Employment Law This Week podcast feed. In their final episode of the year, the team discusses the top 10 trends of 2022. Another big development this year has been remote work's impact on non-compete agreements. Epstein Becker Green's Millie Warner says the COVID-19 pandemic kicked off a push for employees to live and work in different locations, sometimes different states. This can create issues for employers around non-competes, including questions about which state governs, whether the non-compete remains enforceable, and more.
This is not an issue that's likely to go away anytime soon, and I would really expect to see more litigation coming in the next year or so on this topic, especially with more and more states enacting state-specific legislation in the area of non-competes, and with employees at the same time having increased flexibility to maybe move around and work in different states. You sort of have the perfect storm here. This is a point that I think employers should really keep a close eye on.
Another key trend we're watching, the possible federal regulation of restrictive covenants. In 2021, President Biden signed an executive order encouraging the FTC to use its authority to curtail the use of non-competes. Epstein Becker Green's Erik Weibust has more.
On November 10th, the FTC issued a new policy statement regarding the scope of unfair methods of competition under Section 5 of the FTC Act. And they don't mention non-competes, but it's certainly expected that we'll see enforcement actions against companies that use non-competes in the coming year and years.
The Spilling Secrets team runs down the full list of top 10 developments on the podcast, including restrictive covenants in the healthcare industry and the number one trend of 2022. You'll have to tune into the podcast for that one. Spilling Secrets has been chock full of valuable information for listeners on the state of the law in this area, and we look forward to more great content in 2023 from our host, Epstein Becker Green's Pete Steinmeyer, and the rest of the crew.
It's been a fun year of podcasting, and I look forward to our conversations next year about the future of non-compete and trade secret law. A special thank you to our listeners in this inaugural year of Spilling Secrets.
Thanks, Pete. Subscribe to the Employment Law This Week feed wherever you get your podcasts to hear the full audio episode and to catch all future editions of the Spilling Secrets series. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.